My family called me after 10 years of silence, not to apologize, but to take a piece of my body for my brother, and I let them. My family called me after 10 years of silence, not to apologize, not to fix what they broke, but to take something from my body. And when I found out the real reason, I made sure they said every single word of it out loud, on tape. I need you to understand something before I tell you this story. I spent 10 years building a life after I left that house. 10 years of not looking back. And then one Tuesday, my phone lit up with my father's name, and I just stared at it. I almost let it go to voicemail. I should have. I was the second kid in a family where that basically meant I was the backup. My brother Damon was the whole point, the one they bragged about, the one whose failures were always somebody else's fault, usually mine. I cleaned the house while he got tutored. I worked weekends at 16 while they bought him a car. I graduated with honors. They threw him a party for barely getting out of high school. I watched all of it and kept telling myself it would even out eventually. It didn't. When I was 22, I found out they'd been pulling money out of my savings account. Not borrowing, taking. When I brought it up, my dad told me I was being selfish. That was the last night I slept in that house. I left with 2 bags and didn't tell anyone where I was going. I spent a few years just figuring things out, got a real job, got my own place, stopped waiting for something bad to happen, which, if you've grown up walking on eggshells, you know is a bigger deal than it sounds. Then my father called. His voice was soft in that specific way it gets when he wants something. "Michelle, I'm not doing well. I don't have a lot of time left." A pause. "Your mother and I want to see you. One dinner. That's all. We just want our family back." I spent 3 days going back and forth about it. Something felt practiced, like they'd talked about exactly how this conversation was going to go. But I said yes, because I wanted one thing and one thing only. 2 words. "I'm sorry, that's it." Just say it, mean it, and I could finally close the door on all of it for good. I had no idea what I was actually walking back into. I flew back telling myself to keep an open mind. I know, but part of me genuinely thought maybe things were different. Maybe 10 years was enough time for people to change. The second I walked through that door, I knew something was off. It was too quiet, too neat. My mother had on her company smile, the one that only comes out when she needs something. My dad was dressed up on a Saturday like he was about to make a pitch, and Damon was there, leaning in the kitchen doorway, watching me with this expression I couldn't quite read. Not guilty, not happy to see me, something else. We sat down. Coffee, small talk that felt like a waiting room. And then my father cleared his throat. "It's Damon." He glanced at my mother. She nodded, right on cue. "His kidneys are failing. The doctors are saying he needs a transplant." I looked at Damon. He looked at the table. My mother leaned forward, voice soft, doing that thing where she sounds sad but you know she's pushing. "Family is usually the best chance for a match. And you've always been so strong, Michelle. We were thinking—" She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. 10 years, no calls, no birthdays, no nothing. And the first thing out of their mouths wasn't an apology. It was an ask. Not for forgiveness, for an organ. I sat very still, kept my face completely neutral. "That's a lot to take in," I said. "I'm going to need some time." My father reached across and squeezed my hand. "Of course. We're not rushing you. We love you. We just want our family together again."
This is a case of manipulative altruism. By framing a self-serving demand as an act of familial love, the aggressor attempts to bypass the victim's logical defenses through manufactured guilt.
I smiled. I nodded. And something settled in me right then, cold and quiet and certain. I wasn't going to do anything until I knew exactly what was going on. So I stayed calm. I stayed nice. And I started paying very close attention to everything. That evening, I stepped outside. The back patio. Same cracked tiles from when I was a kid. I sat down and pulled out my phone to text a friend. That's when I heard them through the kitchen window. My mother first. "You think she'll actually do it?" Then Damon. "She's not gonna say no. She never does." My dad. "She's always wanted us to love her. Use that."
This illustrates cold-blooded emotional exploitation. The family treats the daughter not as a human being, but as a utility, leveraging her innate desire for belonging to manipulate her compliance.
I did not move. I don't think I breathed. Then Damon again. And I noticed his voice shifted, got almost casual, like he was proud of something. "I'm the one who told you to call her. I knew she'd come. She needs us to approve of her. Always has. She'll go through with it. I want you to sit with that for a second. My brother, who was supposedly sick, who supposedly needed me, was the one who came up with the plan. He wasn't desperate. He wasn't scared. He looked at his sister, figured out exactly which nerve to press, and handed it to our parents like a strategy. I stayed on that patio for a long time, long enough for it to really land. I wasn't their daughter. I wasn't even a person to them in that moment. I was a solution to a problem Damon had. I almost didn't go back inside. I'm not going to lie to you. I sat there and thought about just getting in a car and leaving, not saying a word. Just gone. But then I thought, no, they don't get to do this and just walk away from it clean. I went back inside, smiled like nothing happened, and said, "You know what? I think I'm ready to talk more seriously about this. Let's plan that dinner." Here's what they didn't know. 3 weeks before I ever got on that plane, I'd had a full medical workup. Just routine stuff, nothing dramatic. But the results came back with something I hadn't expected. A condition in my blood work that makes me completely ineligible to donate an organ. To anyone. Ever. The doctor told me straight. I'm not a match. I can't be a match. End of story. I had known this the whole time. They were chasing something that didn't exist, and I let them keep chasing it, because I needed them comfortable. I needed them confident enough to stop being careful about what they said around me. So for the next 2 weeks, I played the role. Texted my mom little check-ins, called my dad, asked how Damon was holding up. Let Damon send me these long messages about how much he missed me, how scared he was, how he'd always looked up to me. I saved every single one. And for the dinner, I did one more thing. I got to the restaurant early, picked the seat where I knew my phone would pick up everything clearly, and set it face down in the center of the table before anyone arrived. Recording. They showed up warm, relaxed, hugging me like we did this all the time. I noticed how much easier that used to work on me. Now it just told me they were confident, which was exactly what I needed. We ate. There was actual laughter at points, which was strange. And then dessert came, and my father leaned in and said, "So, sweetheart, have you made a decision?" And that's when they stopped being careful. My mother said she always knew I'd come through, when the family really needed it. Damon said he knew I'd do the right thing, that I was just built that way, that I couldn't say no to people I loved. My father looked me in the eye and said, "You've always been the one who holds it together. This is your chance to really be part of this family." Your chance to be part of this family. Like I'd been auditioning my whole life, and this was finally my callback. I didn't say anything for a second. Then I reached over, picked up my phone, and stopped the recording. "I need to tell you something," I said. "Before any of this happened, before you called me, before any of it, I had a medical workup done. I can't donate. Not to Damon, not to anybody. I'm completely ineligible. That was never on the table." Nobody said anything. My mom looked at my dad. Damon picked up his fork and put it back down. But that's not actually the point. I stood up. The point is, I heard you. On the patio, the first night. All of it. I know whose idea this was. I know exactly what I am to you people. And now I have a recording of this entire dinner that makes all of that very, very clear. Damon went pale. "I'm not sending it to anyone," I said. "I don't need to. I just needed you to hear yourselves say it. And now you have. I picked up my bag. Don't call me. Don't text me. Don't show up. I mean that. I left cash on the table for what I ate and walked out. The parking lot was cold. My hands were shaking a little. I won't pretend they weren't. I sat in my car for a few minutes just breathing. Then I drove to the airport and didn't look back once. Damon called 7 times before my plane landed. My mom sent a string of messages that started with please and ended with you're destroying this family. My dad left one voicemail. I listened to it once. I don't know what you think you heard, Michelle, but your mother is, just call me back, please. I didn't call back. I blocked all 3 of them. Every platform, every number, done. And I want to be straight with you about something, because I know how these stories are supposed to end. There was no public meltdown, no moment where they lost everything in front of a crowd, no dramatic collapse. I'm not going to pretend there was. What actually happened is this. I went home. I unpacked my bag. I made coffee. And I realized I wasn't bracing for anything. There was no next thing to survive, no call I was dreading, no version of events I had to manage. Just quiet.
This represents the cognitive release from chronic hypervigilance. By effectively severing the toxic bond, the victim finally transitions from a state of survival-based stress to genuine psychological equilibrium.
That was the justice. Not a courtroom, just quiet. I kept the recording, not to use, but for the days my brain starts making excuses for them. The days I start thinking maybe I was too harsh, maybe they loved me in their own broken way. Maybe family deserves more chances than I gave them. On those days, I press play. And I remember exactly who they were the moment they thought they had me. Damon is still out there, still looking for the next shortcut, still burning through people's patience. That's not my problem anymore. My place has plants all over the windowsills now. I have friends who actually show up. I have Saturday mornings with good coffee and know where I have to be. And I didn't realize until recently how rare that is. To just sit somewhere and not be waiting for something bad to happen. I'm good, that's enough.
Would you have stayed for dinner, or would you have walked away the moment you heard them? Let me know in the comments and subscribe for more stories.